Good morning, everyone. Well, it's Monday, it's the end of March, and it's kind of spring outside. And actually, it's very nice outside in many, many ways. The snow is almost completely gone and out here, and that's a good thing. And we've had our first golf course meeting of the year, so that's also a good thing. And I'm looking forward to talking to people on the first tee again very soon. This is episode 6 on the Faith Foundations thing that I've been doing, and my first 6 have been very much directed at faith, and this one has to do with, and actually has a lot to do with even what our sermon was yesterday at church. It has to do with faith that acts, and what that simply means is that we take action with our faith and we believe for things that we can't see. Um, James 2, verse 17, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. And we see that time and time and again in life. And our faith that we have becomes real when it is lived. And actually, in the chat the other day, or yesterday, actually, because I do the online backbone for the church, uh, I made mention of the heroes of being a tractor guy to being a farmer. And that's an excellent example of faith because it becomes very real when it is lived. And in so many ways, they live by faith. You know, we talked about faith throughout the series, and faith before proof, grace, not performance, trust beyond understanding, small faith that produces big results, faith as a mustard seed, walking by faith and not by sight. But now we come to a very powerful truth. Faith is not just something you believe, it's something you live. And James says, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. That's pretty strong language. Now, does it mean that, if you don't do lots of Christian works, that you don't get to go to heaven? No, that's not what that's all about. But it's how you live your life. And that's very strong language. Faith by itself is not accompanied by action, is dead. But it's meant to wake us up. There's always a gap between belief and action. And one of the videos that I do for my purpose and passion group has to do with exactly that situation where a group of young men wanted to be state football champions, but they weren't exhibiting the actions that it was going to take to get to that point. And I've seen that to be true in kids that have made the International Science and Engineering Fair. I've seen that to be true for uh, many wrestlers. That if you want to get on the podium, you better do something to get there. You just can't walk into practice, go to practice, and walk out, take a shower, go home, and eat, do that sort of thing. You have to take action, and there's a gap, very much a gap between belief and action. Many people believe in the right things. They believe that they have a purpose, that God has a plan, their life can make a difference. But belief alone does not create change. There is often a gap between what we say we believe and how we actually live. Faith closes that gap. Action is the evidence of faith. Action is not about earning anything, it's about expressing what you already believe. If you believe, you take the step, you make the call, you start the work, you serve others. Faith shows up in movement, what you're doing, not perfection, not certainty, movement. And I'm going to Prairie Heights Church. If you knew the story of Prairie Heights Church, you would go, holy smokes, you mean just a few people made that church happen? Yes, absolutely. That's what happened. 8 people sitting, having breakfast together and talking. Now, there's a whole lot more to that story, but I would encourage you to look at the Prairie Heights website and maybe even the Prairie Heights YouTube channel and check out this past weekend's sermon by Beth Nelson. Now, as I've said, I've had a great deal of faith in a lot of kids and helping them on their journey and allowing them to do great things. And it's a lesson literally that, when I start talking about this, I had to learn this lesson over time. There were moments when I believed something was possible, but I still had to act on it. I mean, I see that with the Becomers movement, because that's all about doing something in a totally different way than what I'd ever done it before, but I decided it had to be done. Starting something new, whether it's in the classroom, in the any practice setting in athletics, in the lab, within the Becomers movement, requires more than belief. It requires steps. I've seen it in teaching. If I had not been at a teachers meeting in October of 1973, which is a long time ago, and I saw Dr. Harry Wong talk, I could not have possibly become the teacher that I was, although I had many great mentors that were trying to show me the way. I tried to do it in an academic approach. And Dr. Wong, he decided he was just going to go into a classroom and truly care about his kids as much as he was going to care about the subject matter that he was teaching. And as a result, kids learned, kids found out that he really did care for them. And I tried to mimic that. And I had some great mentors that showed me that way. And the one thing is, whether it's teaching or coaching or whatever it is you're doing, you have to, throw some ideas out there and know the outcomes that are going to happen when you do it. Continuing forward when it would have been easier to just wait, or for that matter, just quit. Faith is not a passive thing. Faith is not waiting forever, avoiding risk, hoping without moving. Faith is active. It is showing up, speaking up, stepping forward, even when you don't feel fully ready. And quite frankly, in our country today, we are seeing that taking place. We have people that are stepping up when they never thought they would ever step up, because they had to address things that they knew needed to be changed. Purpose requires participation. Purpose is not discovered by thinking alone, it is discovered by doing. Many people are waiting for clarity, but clarity often comes through action, not before it. I never learned how to titrate something by just being told to do it. I had to learn how to do it. I didn't learn how to do a slide, or for that matter, because my father was a botanist and he was a really good one. He was a great teacher. He took me out into the field for 3 years of research in the Red River Valley, where I learned all kinds of plants. I learned their scientific name, not necessarily their common name. But he had a lot of faith in me. He believed that that was how I would learn, and I did. When you act in faith, doors open, direction becomes clear, and confidence grows. And when people reach out and are willing to help you on that journey and help you in that faith journey, pay attention. Now, as I do every week that I do this, here's a challenge. What is one thing you believe but you haven't acted on yet? Where are you waiting instead of moving? And what step could you take today to make it happen? Faith is not just something you hold in your heart, it's something you live with your life. And when faith moves, purpose follows. Well, again, I'm going to have another worksheet for you to use if you want to reflect on what I've been talking about. You might consider joining the Becomers movement and becoming part of that process and continue the faith journey, because there will be more videos like this, and I will continue to post journal reflection that you can use for journaling. And again, faith that acts. That's what this is all about. Now, again, today's a beautiful day outside, but more than likely you're going to come across somebody that's going to need some help. Help them out. They may not know who you are, but just give them some help. Raise them up. Make their day better by what you do for them. And by making their day better and probably their life better, you made your life better and their day better. And quite frankly, you've made this world a whole lot better place to live in. Have a good one. I'll check in with you again next week.